Leaving her children to rest in peace, Adwoa heads deeper into the research station, ready for her last resort. What is up everyone, Kutso here, and welcome back to the final part of this walkthrough of Muri on Muri difficulty. I hope you're having a great day and or night wherever you are, and are you ready? Are you pumped for this? I know I am, because 4-1 will really test your limits and kick your butt if you don't know what you're doing. One of the harder things now that we are in 4-1, the enemies get tougher, much more bullets you'll have to worry about, the areas get bigger, then they kind of condense, but there's still the worry of all of those enemies that you come across. Something very different will happen in 4-2 that's not happening right now, but one of the things you want to watch out for are these robots for 4-1. They break into different parts, and depending on the parts, depends on how they act. They can either break up with their legs and they just jump around, but the most dangerous part is if they break up and their top half is still alive, because those can still shoot and fly around. Much easier if you can destroy the top half than deal with the bottom half, but either or, make sure you're just ready to deal with those. And luckily, one of the great things about the starting areas of each episode is that each episode usually gives you kind of a start, kind of a basis of what's going to happen. This one is a little bit different, as we're facing enemies that are only going to be appearing in this level. So this is the last time we'll actually be seeing mechanical enemies. And you know what that means? Aliens. Yeah, I don't know how that is going to correlate, but once we get to that, it's going to be I have no idea. This is just one of the areas of the game where things really stop making sense, but I guess shouldn't really be going into the lore of a DOS inspired game. And we have a cell that's coming up, is going to be towards the left side of us. This is the second easiest cell that is hard to miss, because you're like really close to it already, so you know you already expect where the cell will be, and it's right up here. You just have to do a little bit of a maze, and once you get that, you get the cell, and that is it for this level. No more enemies. Now we are going to make our escape. Make sure you do go up to the top first, because if you go all the way around here and all the way to the top, this satellite station, which we're launching our way into to order to see if we can find anyone, potentially our husband. 3 more Muri suits for the rest of us. It has to set things right. It's time that I make good on that. So these suits, one of the things that really caused destruction, is now possibly going to help us save the Earth. Not only that, but Kawaku, Adwoa's husband, he possibly made it to the Earth's core. But for what reason, everyone? I guess we'll find out. Oh baby, here we go. We got the aliens, and every great game always has to have some type of alien hominoid creatures, or any type of aliens in general, right? No game's set without that. So one of the things that you want to take care of is trying to destroy these jellyfish ASAP. These are the most dangerous enemies in my opinion, because once you destroy these sacks, 4 of them come out. 4 of them, they go in different patterns depending on when you destroy the sack. It's possible to use a spread gun like I'm doing right here, and able to just, you know, destroy them pretty easily. This is where the spread gun really shines. It's definitely one of the weapons that was really useful for the first couple episodes. It dwindled off a little bit for the 3rd episode. We didn't really use it too much, as it was mainly the laser and Omega for that episode. But for this one, it's definitely great, because you can take out a lot of these enemies that appear on the screen that they're sending out at you in a few shots. Not only that, but we have these omnidirectional turrets now. These are the alien variations of the previous ones that we've seen. Instead of the other ones being able to only shoot up, down, left, right, of course, all directions they can shoot at you. So make sure you watch out for those, because these can also go through terrain as most of the enemy bullets. And also, if you see it right there, that jellyfish can actually go through terrain too. And you see I took a hit, sadly, right there. It's not too bad though. Taking a hit on 4-2 is definitely not as bad as taking a hit on 4-3. I would say that is probably the area where you want to take the least amount of hits. 4-3, 4-4, I'm not entirely sure which one would be considered harder. But boy, I think 4-3 might be a little bit more difficult just because of the boss. But 4-2 is a little weird because this like has a lot of stuff you have to worry about in terms of just like collecting everything. To the top right, there was a blockade. Now we can go back, and this is needed in order to get the cell. So I got to do a little bit of backtracking for this one, going towards the top area. As we come up here, we are going to be greeted with some more enemies. Not only that, but they give us some chaos right here, which is really good. If we're really lucky, you're able to destroy those jellyfish creatures by shooting their pods and potentially, depending on like how the aiming is, so don't really count on it, but you can destroy all of them. I do it a couple of times in this walkthrough. Let's just carefully go around. Also, if you want to save ammo with the chaos, I recommend just jumping on these enemies. Easy one-hit kills. Sadly, I do have to use a lot of this ammo on things that doesn't really matter, like the blocks, just to get in other areas. But if you're not doing a 100% run, then you can just feel free to skip all that stuff. It's not really needed. That is 100%. 4-2 is also a relatively quick stage. 4-3, 4-4 is where the levels get really long. Four 3 is more of a maze type of level, and when I say the maze, it's the biggest level. 4-4 is where it kind of gets compact, but it still has the same amount of enemies as 4-3. So with 4-3, it's very easy to miss a lot of the collectibles. There's a little bit of backtracking in this level, going towards 3 tiers that we're going to be coming up across. So we have a bottom tier, mid tier, and high tier. That's why I like to break it up into to make this a lot easier. Let's take the bottom route. Bottom route is much easier to deal with. Just have to make sure you go everywhere towards the bottom. It's a little shaky though, because there's some instances where you have to go towards the middle, then you have to go towards the right. This is the best route I found. Also, make sure you get that chaos. Very helpful. Falling into the fire is dangerous, like very dangerous. I can't remember if it's a one-hit kill though, or if it's just damage, but don't take the risk either or. So now that we dealt with that, let's just go back to the right side. This is just below where we enter on the bottom. Take care of those enemies and go back towards the left side so we can kind of get rid of all this stuff in the middle and collect these certain things. Careful of the jellyfish up top, is going to be coming behind you. And these chain balls, you can either destroy, you see me, by stomping on them or by shooting the things I guess connected to the chain or whatever. So it's your choice of how you want to do it. Of course, if you wanted to save ammo of this chaos and the other ammo that you collect, the best choice of action is to just jump on them. Some areas they're kind of closed in and it's risky and you might want to avoid it, especially if you're playing on this difficulty and you're not really familiar with how everything works. Heading back towards the right side of the middle, that is pretty much of everything we collected so far. We can keep continuing on the left side at the bottom here. So you can see that I went to the bottom, went to the mid, went to the right. I came back here towards the bottom section again. Now we can head towards the upper section. So destroying that will allow us to get closer towards the cell. Have some of these fireballs that pop out of nowhere that we have to deal with. So let's destroy that. And that blockade right there is needed in order to reach our cell. So a total of 2 blockades needed in order to reach it. Come down to the bottom right there. Very easy to miss that one. Might as well get that while we're already trying to do some backtracking. The end of the level is at the bottom left of that stage, but we're really close to actually beating this one. We still have some of the top section to do. Luckily, we did get some more ammo for our laser, and there is some mega ammo right here. One other thing that you can do if you want to destroy those and you have the laser out is use the wall to reflect, because you get more shots. So more shots and only take one. Much easier to do, and you'll save some actual ammo for that. And that is it, everyone. That is 100%. From here, you can go all the way towards the left and drop down. And that is the end of 4-3. One of the more confusing levels. I made it seem a little bit easy, but trust me, it took me a little bit of time to get the route down in order to like get everything fairly well. So 4-4. One thing that makes 4-4 more challenging than 4-3 is a mini boss that we'll be coming up to a little bit later. With this mini boss, it's good if you have mega ammo and laser ammo. If you don't, it gets a little harder. And also, for some reason, this, as I mentioned, since it's so compact, it's a lot easier to take damage. And for some reason, they also like sending out these green one-eyed aliens just like separately or in a group out of nowhere. There's one part, I feel like this is like one of the few parts in the game where one spawns out of nowhere where you can't see it, so you just have to know about it. That's like the only one dickish part in this whole game. The one good thing about 4-4 being more compact is there's no layers you have to worry about. Everything is pretty straightforward where we have to actually go. Towards the left side will be some more ammo, and of course it's don't really want to use this laser, so let's just jump on them, go collect this, and be on our merry way. We got some more chaos. They start giving this out a little bit more, so they're very kind with giving this out towards the last area. Yeah, that's one area where that is one area where the enemies are kinda random out of nowhere. At least we get the mega ammo to kind of make up for it. Shooting that will just take you towards the back area. And this little area right here is very easy to miss, actually. I know during the few times that I was going through 4-4, this was one of the areas that I kept coming back to, trying to find the last, enemies to destroy to get that 100%. Very minor backtracking. Still wish I could switch out weapons. Would make it so much easier. Right here is where they're going to be starting to use the turrets a little bit more, and also the jellyfish. Now, welcome to the mini boss that we're going to be coming up against. This mini boss is pretty easy if you like the Mega though. You just have to make sure you watch out for the barrier. Taking a couple shots will lead to a lot of damage. Luckily with the laser, since it's pretty fast, it's easy to take that out. And that is that. Not a hard one. If it's your first time or your second time around and you take a lot of damage, you might take a couple of shots and potentially lose a life, but you know, we have 3 lives anyway, so it wouldn't really matter in the end. The one good thing is we're actually coming up close towards the end of this level. Definitely one of the longer levels, one of the more levels where there's like a lot of stuff happening, but at the same time it's pretty big. So it's like there's not too much happening at the same time. It's just like a lot of the stuff where you just have to shoot the same jellyfish enemies. And this last part right here is going to be 2 floppy disks that, or actually should I say 3 that randomly fall down. So make sure you actually collect those. And that cell at the top is pretty easy to find compared to previous cells earlier on. So let's collect these 2, and that is it, everyone. That is pretty much the end. And there is something very unsettling about this warp. 4-6, notice that we were on 4-4 and we warped to 4-6. This is actually the robot we seen earlier in that secret. That voice. Mikuru, kill all traitors. So this is a little bit of a story that you will only get to if you're playing on Muri difficulty. You won't be able to fight this secret boss if you aren't. And this boss is actually very random and very difficult. One of the things I did find out is that you can actually jump on ahead to get across to make it easier for yourself. The pattern is just very random, and sometimes the boss will be a breeze, sometimes like this it'll be very difficult, and there are so many things you have to watch out for with the rings and the bullets. This just requires quick reflexes and trying not to get wrecked right here, as we only need one. Oh my gosh, one hit. Man, I was very lucky to actually dodge that. That colony war machine stowed away on the station and followed me here. These machines know it doesn't matter now. I must find a core. A little bit of a backstory on that as we head towards the last area of the game, just going towards the boss here. One of the cool things about that whole boss sequence is at the end of this game, there's actually a photo and there's like another woman in the picture, and that's kind of depicted that that robot is one of the people that you actually knew. Be it someone in your family, probably not in your family, but a close friend, maybe turned into a robot. I have no idea how it actually works, or they don't really give too much of a backstory, but it's kind of a cool thing that the developer mentioned. As we meet our husband, talking about the children being gone and couldn't stand being here, losing them, potentially losing us too. Trying to destroy the Earth's core that's potentially is just going to just destroy the Earth in general. The core must be fighting back. Kwaku, look out! And that is where our husband gets knocked out and where the last boss fight actually appears. So we're actually fighting the Earth, which is weird to say. I don't know how the Earth is sentient out of nowhere. But since we collected the infinite chaos as you've seen earlier, this makes this boss very, very easy. This is like God mode. If you get to this point, they're like, you know what? You did everything to get to this point. You deserve to have a really broken weapon. This boss has 3 phases. That was the first phase with all those turrets. Staying at the bottom left was the best option. The difference from this difficulty from the other difficulties is that there are much more bullets on the screen and the enemies are faster. And also that core, that I guess mini core thing following us, it doesn't shoot out bullets, it just tracks you on other difficulties, but on Muri it actually, you know, shoots bullets out. For the last section here, you're going to only have to worry about enemies coming towards the left and the bullets. You don't have to worry about that core orb thing coming after you. Again, if you have the chaos, it makes this a breeze. Otherwise, it's a little longer in terms of having to take the enemies out. But that is it, everyone. 4-5 is complete. Kwaku. Don't worry about me. We don't have long anyway. We should have never given that suit to Kojo. Yeah, they probably shouldn't have invented Muri in the first place, but they know why. There was something special about love given to their children for some reason. Yeah, it's really weird. It's very dramatic towards the end of this. Doesn't really make much sense, but it's definitely something that I didn't expect that happens. And you know what? We're going to recreate the Earth by sacrificing ourselves. Does that bring everyone back? Is that just a new Earth? I have no idea. But remaking mankind is something that can be dangerous in a way. But I guess it's something they have to do. That's how the game ends, with the main character dying. There's very few games where the main character actually dies in the end that I'm aware of. So that was one of the unexpected, bittersweet endings. At least we recreate the Earth now with some blue and also pink. That is it for Muri on Muri difficulty. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough, as it was one of the few games that I 100%ed and I played through multiple times, not only just for enjoyment, but also to see how I could better myself in terms of speedrunning. One of the few games I actually took speedrunning very seriously, so I hope this was all useful to you. Were able to find the cells. Maybe a little bit of rambling went on here and there, not related to the gameplay, but hopefully overall you were able to get through this and this was helpful for you. Muri is definitely one of the games that's not huge, but is one of the games that holds dear to me. Being an indie game, and these creators are also the creators of another indie game that I plan to do in the future, It'll Do, which is another fun Zelda inspired game. Definitely one of my favorite companies, and so far I definitely recommend checking this game out. As always, everyone, if you want to stay up to date with more content like this, walkthroughs, gameplays, indie gaming news, and other things I do on my channel, then make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. As always, everyone, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day and night wherever you are, and I'll see you next time.